Welcome back to Juku Kristi's Ask Kristi. When this starts, always trips me up. There's a couple different lights that blink up here. Anyways, welcome to this week's live event, Ask Kristi Business English Open Forum, a place where people who speak English as a second language can come and have their questions answered, set up some conversation, and we can hopefully help you improve your professional communication. Today, I was kind of inspired by something in my own life, and I wanted to share it with you. I'm going to adjust this camera because I feel like I'm floating sort of in a weird space there. So it is now October. You can see I've put on my scarf because it is just turned cold here in France. The month of September was extra busy for me, and for my work, I had a big deadline and lots of work that I had to do, and kind of a high pressure end of the month. And as it was coming to the end of the month and really intense, I just said to myself, when push comes to shove. And it occurred to me that what I said, when I said, when push comes to shove, that perhaps that is exactly the kind of phrase that some of my friends who speak English as a second language might find confusing, but it's a phrase that I like in particular and really came into play at the end of September for me. And so I thought today I would share the phrase, when push comes to shove, ... And because I have not figured out how to get the words to come up here, I will. I'll learn eventually, but I printed this out. Here's the phrase. When push comes to shove. ... Because that phrase could have a different ending depending on what the situation is. The two probably most obvious words in this are push and shove, right? We've got push and shove. Those are the kind of key words, but the part that gets confusing, I bet, is when we have it that it comes to. So when push comes to shove. I think the English language sometimes uses the verbs to come or go in other meanings that aren't actually exactly to, like come to Paris. When my mother comes to visit. It's not quite the same thing as how we are using the word comes to in this phrase. So just to get a quick meaning, when push comes to shove basically means when something gets intense or when something has gone almost as far as it can go. You're at a critical moment. So for me, the month of September, I could have worked all month, but it got really intense because at the end of the month, I had to finish the work. There was no other option. So when push comes to shove means when something gets really kind of intense and you just either have to do it or fail. So the words push and shove, you might know. Push and shove. To push something can be a more gentle term, like you could gently push something. Shove means something very similar, but it's a really rough gesture. So, if you push something, that could be gentle. If you shove something, it's So basically, when we say when push comes to shove, we're saying that the gentle push has become a rough shove. So it is really the state of push, the state of being push has come to be the state of being of shove. It's evolved to that. And now we've gotten to, it's really intense. Usually, I think, when we say, when push comes to shove, in my opinion, it usually means something positive. Like, so for me, it was the end of September. I had so much work to do, and I knew I was going to do it. And I said, when push comes to shove, I get the job done, right? really, you don't even have to say the second part of the phrase. Just when push comes to shove implies I'm noting that I've now gotten to the point that's intense. We're at the critical moment. You got to do it. You could say, like, someone who's trying to save money, or maybe trying to diet, or trying to do something. Maybe when everything's easy and not difficult, they don't save money or they don't eat healthy. But when push comes to shove, it means something's gotten intense. So maybe if I really have to pay for something, I will save the money to pay for it. Like, I have to find that money. So when push comes to shove, I'm going to make the money. I'll save the money. Or I suppose when push, I don't know why I brought up the diet, but I suppose being healthy is something that's kind of a challenge sometimes. And maybe if someone has a health problem and they realize, oh, wow, like now I have to be healthy. You could say, well, when push comes to shove, like, I'm just going to take care of myself. I think that's not the best example. I think my example of having a big work deadline, and I guess that's why I connected it here to our professional conversation, is I think that you would say, gosh, when push comes to shove, we're going to get the job done. That could be a team. So you could be in an office and you have some deadline or some project or some presentation that has to be ready. And you find out that really at that last minute, everyone puts in the extra effort. So when push comes to shove, I get the job done. You could use it in the opposite. You could say, well, when push comes to shove, that guy, he never performs. Like, when something gets intense, that's the person who disappears and doesn't get the job done. So don't count on them. For me, I tend to, there's the positive and the negative side of the phrase, when push comes to shove. I think the positive side of this is, when push comes to shove, I get the job done. And it's, that moment of intensity pushes you and you complete something. For me, I know it bothers me a little bit that sometimes I need it to get intense to motivate me to get the job done. So last month, the whole month was really busy. I did the best I could, but really I waited until the end of the month to really be productive. So there is a negative side, in my opinion, to this phrase. So maybe we shouldn't let push get to shove. We can work earlier and get it done sooner. But hey, we're human, right? We do the best we can. Anyways, that is my little input that is not completely professional English. It's really just a phrase that we use in the English language that I think can be applied to a professional setting. For me, with my work and my deadline, I think that is something you could hear someone say, like, when push comes to shove. And they may not even say the second part of it. It just implies that we have now gotten to an intense state of something, that we have to do it. The deadline's coming or something. The high pressure has hit. Anyways, that's the little phrase of the day. I hope that it helps broaden your understanding a little bit of the English language and how it could be used in a professional setting. Again, I'm Kristi. My website is Juku Kristi. And because I haven't, here we go. I need to figure out how to get the words up on the screen, don't I? JukuKristi.com is where you can find out all sorts of other information, either other classes, things about this. I am going to be doing a write-up for each of this. Each Monday, I will be having this Ask Kristi Business English Open Forum, and it tags with a blog post on my website. So if you want to read about this subject, you can read about it there. You can always watch this video over if that is helpful. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, like the video if you do, put in a comment below because all of these things do matter. And I would love to keep in touch. So if you want to head over to jukukristi.com, keep in touch with me there. You can sign up for the mailing list, and I'm going to be doing some more events coming up soon. So I look forward to keeping in touch. Anyways, thank you for joining, and I will see you next week. And remember, Juku Kristi is your favorite place to practice English. Bye-bye.